Right, this is two brothers from GMS Trinidad here, brother Lamad, brother Howard. Right here to do edification to the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yashai. And first we like to give all praises, all honor and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Achakodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone and rule well, and blessing and salutation to the men that push this with sincerity and the truth, and to the sisters that listen in silence to Shalom. Alright, the video basically is based off of, the US, how the US dollar the plummeting right now, and the Chinese yuan, I pronounce it right?
Yeah.
The yuan dollar is actually it being dominant. You know what I mean? We see that different countries is ditching the US dollar for the yuan, and that is something prophetical, you know what I mean? So I'll just play let's go through a few news articles here just to show that the countries that ditching the US dollar and whatnot. Alright?
Each passing day, as the world dumps the US dollar, more and more countries are turning to the Chinese yuan. Last week it was Brazil. It began bilateral trade in the yuan, and now Malaysia has announced its plans. Malaysia wants to set up an Asian monetary fund. Malaysia's Prime Minister is Anwar Ibrahim. He met with Chinese President Xi Jinping last week. Both leaders were in Hainan. Ibrahim informed his parliament about the discussions. He said he was the one who pushed for this idea. And I have some quotes from the Malaysian Prime Minister. When I had a meeting with President Xi Jinping, he immediately said, I refer to Anwar's proposal on the Asian Monetary Fund, and he welcomed discussions. There is no reason for Malaysia to continue depending on the dollar. So Malaysia wants an Asian Monetary Fund, and China supports the idea. But what purpose will it serve? It has two goals. Number one, replace the US dollar with an alternative currency. And number two, reduce reliance on the International Monetary Fund, the IMF.
Right. Right. So as to say, to replace the US dollar. Right. That is one of the main goals of these other countries, to replace the US dollar, and also she said the thing the
Lender of
IMF.
last resort for countries. The US dollar with an alternative currency. And number two, reduce reliance on the International Monetary Fund.
Right, to reduce the reliance on the IMF. Because I think the IMF is the ones who does give loans to different countries, whatever the case might be, and they are the ones then that has been in a whole debt. So they're trying to be dependent on their money, so they're boosting their currency, whatever the case might be, however it might be, that's just Malaysia, right? I have this here. I type it on Google. Give me a second. This is like 3 days ago. This is six big economy. Six big economies that are ditching the US dollar, right? And it says India. In March, India linked agreement to trade in India's rupees with 18 nations. Most recently, India and Malaysia announced they will start trading in India rupees, right? That is one. Iran, the country sanctioned by the US, has fully abandoned the USD in its trade with Russia and China, right? So Iran is the next one. It says Saudi Arabia. It says the OPEC or the OPEC nation has declared it will abandon petrodollar and accept petro-yuan, right? Brazil, which is a part of the BRICS. It says Brazil and China recently linked an agreement to trade in the Chinese yuan and ditch the USD. China is working on plans to pitch yuan as an alternative to US in global trade. It's promoting its currency through BRICS, SOC, and OPEC. Russia says the Russian-Ukraine war made Moscow ditch the USD like never before. Russia is now increasingly using the Chinese yuan in international trade. It's also working on plans to launch a joint BRICS currency. Right? So these countries, which is a part of the BRICS, and other countries, it's more convenient for them. So they're ditching the USD or the US dollar. Right? And that is a blow for the US economy.
Can. This is James 5 and verse 1 to verse 5. It says, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten." So go back to the dollar, right? When you go into that hyperinflation, where now basically everybody ditching it ain't worth nothing. You understand? And America set as a lady above all these other nations right about now. But as the scripture saying in Isaiah 47, come and sit down in the dust. You understand? It says your gold and silver is conquered. Because right now it's a fiat currency, which right now it ain't backed by nothing. It's just floating by the air.
By the government say so.
Yeah, it can. Right? And all these nations getting fed up of basically that dictatorship of America saying, the democracy. You see we're going on right about now with some of those African nations, right? One of the big brothers put a TikTok video inside of the group today where a lady talk about, hey, if all they want to talk about people managing, talk about other countries managing, basically learn to manage all yourself first.
Exactly.
You understand? Don't come in other people's country and tell them what to do, and all they don't even know what to do in all their own country.
As we say, pot calling kettle bottom black.
Yeah. So they was talking about also she was talking about she blast Kamala Harris and say, hey, you yourself is a Negro, go and talk about that Jim Crow law that they passed in Mississippi there. Right, I did a video on that yesterday. Ella Amwangaba basically, offer Ella Amwangaba. Okay. So yeah, that is something they have to check themselves first, right? Because really and truly their form of democracy is actually a dictatorship.
That's right.
It says your gold and silver is conquered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it will fire. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days. Right? So all these treasures is basically the resources and the wealth and the riches of these other nations, and what they build. They build the military to basically come down upon these other nations. Hey, do this, don't do that. You understand? Accept homosexuality and all these kind of things. Okay? And what the last days? Right? Why they build up that military for the last days? To prepare war against the Holy One of Israel, which is Yahushua, who's coming back. It says, behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you, kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. It goes back to Jake on those plantations, cotton farms and tobacco fields. Alright? Because what? All these things, first of all, if I'm not mistaken, the first set of slaves that came over here, they promised them that they would be indentured laborers. But when they came over here, you put them in hardcore slavery. You understand? And then you went on the western coast of Africa to reap the rest of the southern tribe of Israel after you done frig up the northern tribe, which are the 10 lost tribes. You understand? And brought them here in hardcore slavery, raped, murdered, and lynched so many of them. Okay? It says, ye have lived in pleasure on the earth, and have been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. Right? So who is the people that live in pleasure upon the earth? As check out Tucker Carlson latest news. He say this could lead to the whole of America being going through a famine basically, or starvation. And one of the things that he was bringing up before, how the United States, how their currency was the world currency, then they had a lot of advantages and privileges above all other nations on the earth, right? This is why when you watch certain movies, you'll see somebody say in the movie, "You can't do this to me. I'm an American, god damn it."
Yeah.
You understand? So yeah, they spend their days in wealth, in boastful and pride, right? But there is last stretch of Esau Edom kingdom, which is America, you know.
Something in the Revelation 17 and 16, it says, "And the 10 horn which thou sawest upon the beast, thee shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." Because I bring this precept just to show that that is just the beginning of the so-called US or the so-called white man trouble, right? That's the beginning of their end, right? It starts with their currency, and then it will be the desolation of them, because you know the beast gonna hate them. You know, these other nations there, because look Japan actually taking oil from Russia. And you know, they put sanctions on Russia, but they didn't put sanctions on the oil, right? And Japan is allies with
With
United States. So it come like a, yeah, the scripture say they beast will hate you, you know.
Yeah, because right now in NATO, right, they're basically having a little quarrel in NATO amongst themselves, right? A lot of them, like Germany, right about now, they don't want to interfere with Ukraine and Russia and other people in NATO, saying, you know, we have to do this. So NATO basically going up the, a lot of people saying we don't want to be inside of this war with America against Russia. You understand? So all these other NATO countries, you know, they're basically having a scuffle amongst themselves, you know. So automatically, Britain, right, which is scripture say, thy mother shall be so ashamed of thee, you know. It's at Jeremiah 50. Let me see if I get that real quick, right, because the United States was born out of Britain, right.
So something quick.
Go ahead.
Ecclesiasticus 10 and 8, it says, "Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another." Right now, these other nations had their time to rule in ancient times, even up to this period, which is the Roman Empire, which is America, the last leg of the Roman Empire ruling, right? But now, you get twisted, China feel like they're going to get the next rule or the next run, right, to keep the nation of Israel in captivity. But this whole entire kingdom, as soon as America fall, think we'll have nobody else to rule us, you know, but the kingdom of the Heavenly Father is going to come, you know, and we're going to be governing these nations. You understand? So the kingdom is translated not from the Romans or America to China, but it's going to be translated from them to us, right? And the way the translation going to happen is by destruction, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, real quick. So, yeah, this is Jeremiah 50 verse 12. Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, a hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. You understand? So yeah, Britain, right? The British, which they also hold nukes. Alright, they themselves, they are ashamed of America, and they're going and do what? They're going and launch nukes at America because they are part of that great beast system spoken about in Revelation chapter 17. You understand?
Yeah, but next video here to play, because we're just speaking about Japan, you know, buying the US oil. There it is, you know.
Your pacifist neighbor, Japan. It finds itself in an increasingly dangerous neighborhood. North Korea, China, Russia, Taiwan. It's a volatile region. Tensions are boiling over the Taiwan issue, and the war in Ukraine seems as intense as ever.
The government of Japan will keep watching Russia's military operations as they have been stepping up activity in the Far East, including areas around Japan.
開発の進展につきましては、
So regardless of if it is the buying oil, like this business, you know, they don't make them friends. You understand? That is like they Japan. You know, so they still have eye on each other because they are confederates with the United States. You understand what I mean?
Can.
So it's just a convenience. Yeah, the Lord is the greatest chess player. You know, he know how he playing the game with them. You know what I mean? So we seeing the tensions, we seeing the US dollar, you know, crumbling. You know, we seeing war with war in Lebanon and Israel.
Right now.
You know, so these things just it happening. You know, it happening, and the ultimate thing is for that sea hip. You know, because all these things you're hearing about the yuan and the US dollar dropping, all these things happening because that sea hip have to be implemented. You know, that have to come to pass. You know, and we know that the scriptures is real because we're seeing exactly these things coming to come. You understand? Supposed to have our next precept here. This is Obadiah 1 and 5 and 6. It says, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are the hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the borders. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevail against thee, right? And Japan is one of the countries we know for a fact, through the Spirit of the Lord, they wanted Japan to come here. They want to drop back about 1 year, you know, for killing, because brother Quada, he was telling me when yesterday, he say he did some research on the Hiroshima and Nagasaki with the fat boy and the little boy. How much people it killed? It killed
190 something.
1,000 people. You understand? That is a lot of people. You know, and I feel like they're going to just sit back after all these years. They have their nuclear weapons, whatever the case might be. I think they have nukes. They have nukes or they have a military,
they
right?
They don't have nukes, but they have a military. You understand? But they do have missiles, and I think they was working on hypersonic missiles.
Right.
Don't think they want nukes,
yeah.
but who knows if they're lying? Japan have advanced.
You're not going to tell your enemy we have.
God.
So they could build up a defense against your weaponry. You understand? Or your armory. Yeah, but it says they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, say Yahweh, even destroy the wise man out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau? Yes, so the Lord Yahweh Shemeshah, he gonna have your way with that nation. You know, through these other nations. You understand? So is a what you call it? Everybody win in a sense, because everybody getting a chance to pay them back. Right? Because it's not only Russia alone nuclear missiles when hit. But it's these other they're allied countries. You know? So they're going to pay back the whole.
That's right.
You know?
Basically, when you watch some of these missiles, if you're to put it in a certain perspective, other than they being arrows, right? The way how they look, because we as men, you know, we have a lot of different wordings for genitals, right? And if you watch some of these you want to be a whore, take wood. You understand? Take a rope in your quiver. Yeah, yeah. You understand?
Yeah.
So that the Lord would not use this. Hey, as I say, we have a lot of different ways. They say you want fire in your hole, take fire in your hole. So these missiles, especially the SAMAT, I understand, fast nuclear missiles spearheading into the bowels of the United States. You understand?
something.
La.
Hey, you could call that, you know. So hopefully the video is edifying. Just a quick update on what's going on in the world right now. You know, we give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kodash, double honors to the apostles of great millstone that rule well, and blessed and salutation to the men that push this with a sincerity and in truth. And to you sisters who listen in sincerity, we say Shalom.
Can.